We are incredibly fortunate to have Dr. T. Ravi Kumar sir joining us today to share his wealth of knowledge, insight. Sir needs no introduction in our Sathya Sai organization. For everyone who are new, Dr. T. Ravi Kumar sir came to Swami's fold since the age of 4 in 1963. He joined Arts and Science College at Brindavan as an intermediate student in 1974. Then he went on to do Bachelor's of Science Chemistry and later Master's of Science at Postgraduate Center in Adantapur. In 1981, Swami appointed him as a faculty member in Bhagawan's College, Brindavan. Sir was one of the earliest research scholars of Department of Chemistry at Prashanti Nilayam campus. He received Doctor of Philosophy degree in the year 1990 and, my friends, gold medal from Divine Chancellor Bhagawan himself. Then Swami appointed him as faculty in Bhagawan's College in Brindavan. After retiring from Department of Chemistry, he joined as the Warden of Brindavan Hostel, and Sir has been guiding and training youth in the hostel, the Sai way of life, since then. Bhagawan himself trained him in public speaking. He has been blessed to speak in Bhagawan's presence innumerable times, including in every summer course since 1977 and every Dashera in the divine presence from 1986 to 2010. Sir has traveled widely to different parts of the country and also parts of the world, spreading Swami's message. We are blessed to have his presence today with us. Please welcome Dr. T. Ravi Kumar sir.
Offering my humble salutations at Bhagawan's lotus feet. Most beloved and dearest Bhagawan, respected elders, brothers and sisters, it's always a difficult task to decide where to begin. When we think that today we had 98 bhajans. For every 1 year of Swami's life, we sang one bhajan. Just imagine how easy Swami has made it for us. 1 full year of his life. Just imagine the struggles, how much of effort he would have put to save all of us. How much of struggle as a young boy to establish to a village in which he was born, that he was not just an ordinary young man, but he was the Lord himself. Avatarinchuta annatamlo arthamemi. What is the meaning of the word avatar? Swami says, Janulapai Preeti Vatsalya Paratatoda Vari Sthaiki Daivambu Digivachu Bhuviki Jiva Prajnato Batuga Daiva Prajna. Out of his infinite compassion on mankind, God decides to come down on earth to our level. That's the most difficult thing. I mean, we have borrowed ourselves so low that God must be finding it very difficult to come down to our level. But he comes down to our level so that he can lift us up. They say God's descent is for the ascent of man. But just imagine Puttaparthi 98 years back. Today we see lots of big buildings and lots of shops and all that. But imagine 98 years back what Puttaparthi would have been. I have seen Puttaparthi about 60 years back. And I can tell you, Puttaparthi was nothing at that time. Nothing. To reach Puttaparthi was, from Bangalore it used to take 9 hours. 9 hours of bone-breaking journey. When you finally reach Puttaparthi, every bone will say, I am here. It used to be that tough. My earliest recollection of Prashanthi Nilayam was when we went for a Dashara celebration. As a Bal Vikas student, I had gone. You know, my connection with Marathahalli Samithi is not today. I must tell you this. I have come to Marathahalli Samithi for almost, 50 years back. In fact, I was a young bhajan boy and my father used to take me to all the Samithis in Bangalore. I don't think there was any Samithi in Bangalore which we did not attend, because we used to attend bhajan every day of the week. And there was a college or school, I think, which was there on the road there, where they used to have their anniversary celebrations. There was one gentleman by name Holla. He and his 2 daughters, in those days, we used to attend bhajans there. I also remember Swami coming to that museum. What we have as the museum today was then a convention center. And Swami had come there for one of the anniversary celebrations. Okay, so as a part of Jeevanhalli Samithi, I had gone to Puttaparthi. And when we landed in Puttaparthi, in those days, Puttaparthi consisted of only 2 climates, or 3 climates maybe. Hot, hotter, hottest. And the only vegetation you could see was tamarind trees and thorns. You know, everywhere you had thorns. You used to wonder how people live there. And today, if you tell us not to live there, it's difficult, right? We feel it's the best place on earth. What Swami has done to that place. It's actually a reflection of what Swami has done to our lives. You know, our lives would have been like that wasteland, which he has converted into such a fertile place, such a beautiful place. Okay, so to cut a long story short, we came to Prashanthi Nilayam. We were put up in a guest room just near where we have the Ganesha temple now, just to the right of that, below the Sai Srinivas guest house. There used to be the general hospital, and at the road of the general hospital was level with the roof of some rooms. We had put up in one of the rooms, and the Bal Vikas teacher told me, go to the mandir and find out what time darshan is. I just opened the door and Swami was standing outside. He had come to find out how comfortable we are and whether all facilities were available and so on. In those days, this is in 1960s. You can imagine in 1950s, 1940s. In 1947, when Swami was a young lad, his brother wrote a letter to him. He had seen a long procession of cars coming and people taking away Sathya to their towns and villages and cities. And as an elder brother, he was very concerned. So he said, Sathya, he wrote in that letter, Sathya, don't be fooled by all this glamour. Don't get carried away by all this. And then Swami wrote a letter to him on the 25th of May 1947. It's a beautiful letter. And it's not addressed to his brother. It is addressed to all those who love me, which means all of us. So it's a letter he wrote for us. Because we must know why he came on earth. Why did he come on earth? So in that letter he says, I have a mission. What is that? Akila manavulaku anandamuna gurchi rakshinchuchundute deeksha naku. Don't think I am worried about Puttaparthi and the potholes in Puttaparthi. This is a very small thing. I have come for the entire world, for entire humanity. Akila manavulaku, for the entire humanity. And what is the purpose for which I have come? To give ananda, to give ananda to the entire mankind. I mean, just imagine a 17 or 18-year-old lad writing a letter like this. I have come, born in a small village, didn't have education, 8th standard, threw away the books. Okay? And how many books are written on him today? Just imagine. He said, I have come because I want to give ananda to the whole of mankind. And to protect them. See, that is the thing. Because today the protection that we need is protection from depression, protection from destruction, protection from dejection. This is the protection that we need. This is the protection that only He can give. We land up in all kinds of situations because we are not happy. So, Akila Manavulaku Anandamunagurchi Rakshinchu Chundute Dikshana. Then, Sanmargamunu Vidi Cherenchuvarulu Chaipatti Kapadute Vratamunaku. The people who have gone astray, to hold them by the hand and bring them to the right path. That is the task for which I have come. I have come to hold people by the hand and bring them to the right path. Somebody asked Swami, Swami, is it not enough if you just show them the way and say, this is the way, go ahead? Swami said, no, that's not enough. If you're a blind fellow, what can I do? I have to hold you by the hand and bring you. We are a lot of doctors, so Swami used to say, when a doctor wants to give you an injection, what does he do? He holds you by the hand. Otherwise you'll jerk off the injection, and therefore he has to hold you by the hand. And he said, the path along which I have to take you is a very, very narrow path. He said, the path to heaven is like a very, very narrow road. Like the road leading to Kala Mandir. Narrow. He said that road leading to hell, is a 8-lane expressway. Why? Too much of traffic. Okay, too much of traffic, so you have a huge... But the road going to heaven is such a narrow one, you can easily lose it. And therefore he has to hold you by the hand and bring. And if you see all the problems all over the world, who is it that needs this kind of guidance? The youth need the guidance. And therefore he has to hold them by the hand and bring them to the right path. Then, Bida Sadalukaina Penubar Tolaginchi Lemini Bapute Prema Naku. There is something which I love to do. And what is that? The poor people, to give them what they lack and to make their lives comfortable. If you see the expansion of all these three things, three vision statements that he gave that day, first you have the Medicare. Okay, when you have dis-ease, when you are not at ease, when you have trouble, when you have worry, he has to give you ananda and protect you. And that's why you have the super specialty, the general hospital, the mobile hospital, various ways by which he can bring you. Then he has to hold the young people by the hand because they cannot be held by anyone else. They will not hold anyone else's hand. Only he knows the art of holding the hand. And he has to bring them, and so he established colleges. And there were poor people all over Rayalaseema and Chennai and various places who did not even have drinking water. And so he had to provide them with drinking water. He had to provide houses for people in Orissa. Okay? And then he had to create an organization which will do this. He wanted to use you and me as the instruments to do this, so that in the process of doing it, we will get saved. Okay? In the process of doing this, we will get saved. Okay? So that is how we come to Swami. I was telling you, Sanmargamunu Vidi Cherayinchuvarula Patti Kaapadute, Chei Patti Kaapadute, Vratamunaku, I have taken a vow. I must hold the young people by the hand. Okay? I can tell you my own experience of how Swami held me by the hand and brought me to the right path. There are a few people who might know this experience, but it's still worth telling because because I am telling and it's my story. That's all. There was a time when I was when I joined high school in Bangalore. Just joined the high school, and the first day, the teacher came and gave the syllabus and the timetable and so on. After the first period, as teacher moved out, some people came and stood in the front. Some people who were sitting in our class came and stood in the front. They looked too old to be our classmate and too young to be teachers. They came and stood in the front and asked, "Do you know who we are?" Naturally, we didn't know them, not that famous yet. So we said, "No." They said, "We are your classmates." Then one of the new boys asked, "If you are our classmate, why are you sitting in our class?" No, they said, "We are your seniors. If you are our seniors, why are you sitting in our class?" They said, "That's because we have done 8th standard 3 times." And they were not yet done with 8th standard. It successfully failed 3 times. And so they said, since we have come along this route, we are old hands, so we know how to negotiate this path. We will teach you. They said, "What do you know about the school?" Well, we knew a lot of things about the school. School had a big playground and the building was made of granite and all that. But they said, no. These are all peripheral items. The main thing is, do you know where the classrooms are? Of course, we are sitting in one classroom. They said, no. Beyond the playground, the actual classrooms are there. Achha? Oh, we didn't know that the school extended there. They said the school does not extend there. Actually, this is the extension. That's the real school. Oh, very interesting. Then they said, see, we have 3 classrooms. Okay. And then they named the 3 movie theaters which are there on the other side of the road. And said in one movie theater, they always show Hindi films. In the other, English films. In the other, some Tamil films or Kannada films. They said, if you want to learn anything, don't sit in these classes. If you sit in these classes, what will you get? What will you get? There's so many young people, I'm sure you know what you will get. Sleep. We have all attended online classes, right? So if you sit here, what will you get? Sleep. But if you attend those classes, you can learn. And it will be very fast. You can learn very fast. I always tell people who talk of peer pressure, they say there is so much of peer pressure today. First standard student comes and says, I'm full of stress. Stress? What is that? But don't think that this is something new. Peer pressure was always there. It was not called peer pressure. Okay? So what the seniors told, that message, went straight to our heart. That kind of message always goes straight to your heart. And from next day, we started attending classes there in the real classroom. We used to give attendance here, and there were windows without bars. To jump out, do a little bit of exercise like that, and go and attend those classes. 6 days in a week, 6 films. Then one of our group boys said, "Hey, I think this is not okay." What is not okay? He said, "We are seeing only 6 films." Of course, what else to do? He said, no, see, Sunday is going waste. So, for Sunday's sake, let us go on Saturday also. So, Saturday morning and afternoon, we used to go to a movie. And of course, Thursdays, Bal Vikas was there. White dress, white pant, white shirt, vibhuti. And magically, your personality was transformed in the eyes of the Bal Vikas teacher. And the Bal Vikas teacher told us, everyone, you should become like him. Without understanding how I was. So I thought life would be like this. Education was very interesting, I thought. Till one day. we went to Brindavan. My father and I went to Brindavan. We were sitting there when Swami came out for darshan. He called us, he called my father and said, go inside. So my father understood that it was interview. He had called for interview. Can you get some water? I guess that was symbolic. But it was like this when Swami called us for interview. So father went inside, but I was scared. Because one day during some discussion, the Balavikas teacher told us, Swami's interview is such an awesome experience. I never thought any interview can be an awesome experience. I said, what is there in an interview? You just go and sit there, and some people sitting on the other side of the table will ask you a question. You answer the question, they'll give you admission. That's all, no? She said, no. When Swami gives you interview, he will not ask you questions. He will answer your questions. Now, my worry was, suppose he starts answering questions which I didn't ask. That was the problem. So, I was reluctant. But see, you don't have much of say, when your father is taking you. You cannot explain to him why you're reluctant. So I just followed him. We went and sat inside. We stood inside in a line. Swami finished darshan, came to where we were. I was the first in the line. He came straight to me, looked right into my eyes. You can imagine, I would have been about 12, 13 years. He looked right into my eyes and patted me like this and told my father is a good boy. So my father was very happy. My father was extremely happy. He was the secretary of the also Samithi. Very happy. But that is nothing compared to my happiness. Because till now, I had that suspicion that maybe Swami knows. And now I was convinced that he doesn't know. He also got easily fooled by that vibhuti mark and white dress. So I was very happy. And then Swami asked my father, what about the other members of the Samithi? Swami, they are sitting outside. Go and call, he said. So he went out to call. Then Swami called me like this. Have you seen? Swami will never call you like this. He'll call you like that. Because all the time he's trying to uplift you. Call me like that. We were in a line. Remember, there were other devotees. Till now, what Swami said was meant for everybody. But now what he is going to say was meant for me. So he said, as I moved close to him, he said, good boy. And I am thinking, confirmation, in duplicate. And then Swami says, good boy? Till now, what was full stop became a question mark. Okay, good boy. I am thinking in my mind, you have told publicly I am good boy. You can't go back. Okay. And then Swami says, where were you yesterday? I did what every student does. When you don't know the answer to a question or don't want to know the answer to a question, what do? You give a lot of unnecessary information. So I just said, Swami, yesterday was Saturday. Swami said, I know. Yesterday, if today is Sunday, yesterday must be Saturday. But that's besides the point. Where were you yesterday? Then I said, Swami, it was Saturday. I must have been in the class. I must have been in the school. He said, correct. You should have been in the school. But where were you? $1 million question. In Balvikas, they teach you a lot of useful techniques. No? Like silent sitting and all that. Comes in handy. At this moment, I thought, this is why the technique is taught. Difficult situation, how to navigate. So I kept quiet. Swami waited for some 5-10 seconds. Then he said, Nen cheppana, shall I tell? And I am thinking, go ahead, if you know, why not? No? If you know, do you need my permission? Then Swami is saying, yesterday you were in Ajanta theatre. First shock. So he knows Ajanta theatre also. Then he says, you are in the last but one row. And he names the classmates who are sitting with me. So he knows my whole class. And he knows our activities. And he knows our location. You know, today we put that maps location, or Google location and all that. Swami said, sitting in the last. And all three of you were watching Katti Patang. Oh my God, he knows that also. Then Swami said, Rajesh Khanna, Asha Parekh. Then he said, you need any more information? Why do I need information? I was worried that this information he shouldn't give my father, he is coming. Father is now coming. My worry was, suppose he gives this information to him. That will be a red letter day for me at home. So I was worried. Immediately my imagination was, see, Swami comes like this, father comes like this, and Swami tells him, do you think this fellow is a good fellow? You know his actual activities, and he lists them out. Then my father will do pranam to Swami and say, Swami, you are God. But when my father came, Swami just patted me and told my father he's a good boy. And he said, he's a good boy, but I am telling him to have good company. After that, he took us for interview inside. He spoke for about 1.5 hours, must be 2 hours. For me, there was no interview at all. It was an interview only, going round and round. How can someone be like this? He knows everything about me, but he wanted to save my face. So he didn't tell my father. You won't believe it. My father got to know of this only about 30 years later, when I spoke in his presence when Swami was there. My father said, oh, I didn't know you were like this. Sanmargamunu veedi cherayinchu varula cheyipatti kaapadute vratam naku. I have come to save you. Okay. But how he saves you? How he saves you? Saves you in such a manner that only you know that you are being saved. Others have no clue of what is happening. You know, that's the beauty of Swami's methods. That's the beauty. When he corrects you, okay, you know that he is correcting you. You know, but that lesson is for you. But the technique, I tell you, is so beautiful. It is designer made for you. Designer made. And he corrects you in such a manner that you get the lesson, and you also make a place for him in your heart. You know, you don't want this teacher outside you. You want this teacher always with you because he is so loving. And that's how Swami became a part of, I shouldn't say life, because he had already come into my life, became a part of my heart, I should say. Swami won my heart with that. And that day I decided that he is my God. And I will love him and live for him throughout my life. And he has permitted me to do that. Not only have I had this lesson, but I also seen Swami teaching this lesson to others. Not at that time, of course. Only when they tell you, you know. One incident. In those days in Brindavan, we had a small hostel. There were about 60 boys in the hostel. Students from all over the country, they had come. And as you know, they come from different backgrounds. with different tendencies, different habits, different cultures, different upbringing. There was one boy in the hostel was extremely mischievous. He was so mischievous that if anything happens in the hostel, first thing he'll run to the warden and say, I didn't do it. Because the warden would immediately suspect him only. It was like that. One particular day, we noticed that this fellow is sitting quietly and writing something. Something he is writing. And somebody said, hey, what is he writing here? Hey, let's not disturb him. For a change, he is quiet. Writing something, let him write. Like that, we left him. Kept on writing. And then, later on, we got to know what he was writing was, she was writing a letter to Swami. Somewhere in Sathya Sai Speaks, he has read this that day, that God has 3 eyes. Why does God have 3 eyes? Swami's explanation is, see, all of us have 2 eyes. Right? And with this eye, we can see the past. Okay? We can see the present. But God has 3 eyes because he can see the future also. And when he opens this 3rd eye, burns everything to ashes, burns your sins to ashes. So this fellow thought, it's a good idea. Why not write off all that I have done, all the mistakes I have done in my life, all the sins I have committed in my life, and send it to Swami. Swami's 3rd eye reads it, all that will be. We all think of shortcuts, right? We'll do all that we want to do, and then we'll say, Swami, today we'll go around 9 times. As if Swami wanted that exercise. We'll say, no, Swami, 9 times parikrama I'll do. You remove all the sin I have committed. We like that kind of swap. So this fellow wrote that letter, and he wanted Swami to wipe away all that. And he also decided that from today, I'll become a good boy. I'll change over, become a new leaf. Very often our worry is that the old keeps dragging us. And now when you offer it to Swami, it becomes ash, it will not drag you. That's what he thought. So very nicely he wrote all this. And Swami was in Puttaparthi, so he wanted to post it. Now just before posting, he got a doubt. Swami gets about 3,000 to 5,000 letters. How do I know he has read my letters? Only when he reads it will go to ashes, no. Okay. So how do I know? So he wrote one letter, one sentence in that letter. He said, Swami, please give me an indication that you have read my letter. Please give me an indication you have read my letter. And he posted it. And we all didn't know all this. We only noticed that he has become quieter, less mischievous. We had less of problem in the room. Okay. And then what happens? 4 days later, his father lands up in Brindavan. So someone came and told him, your father has come. It's from Nellore or somewhere, that way. So he said, no, my father won't come now. He said, he has come. So he went, he found his father standing there, so he did pranam to him and said, how come, father, you are here? Father said, actually I did not want to come here. This fellow was surprised, because father did not have any business interest or work in Bangalore. Okay. They had agricultural lands and so on. So finding father in Bangalore was fixed. And father was very serious. So this fellow asked, oh, you didn't plan to come? No, I didn't plan to come. Actually, I came to Puttaparthi. Acha. So he came to Puttaparthi. And this fellow was thinking, if you go to Puttaparthi, you must, when you touch Puttaparthi and come, you should be happy, no? How is it that you are so serious? He didn't ask him, he's thinking. You're saying you're from Puttaparthi, but you're so serious. And then the father says, and Swami gave me an interview. Are you go to Puttaparthi itself, you are happy. Swami gives you an interview. You must be in the 17th heaven of bliss, right? And then the father dropped the bombshell. He said, Swami sent me here. Swami sent me here to warn you. My God. This fellow pretended he didn't know. What did he warn you? What did he want you to warn me? Swami talked about the letter that you wrote. This fellow's heart stopped. He told me everything about that letter. That's what the father said. Then this fellow thought, Swami, I always thought that you will keep secrets. Official Secrets Act. No, what is this? I have written to nobody in this world. I have ever listed out all the sins I have committed. All A to Z. I have not missed out even the smallest one. Because the intention was to finish off with them. I would have not told this even to my best friend. Because from tomorrow onwards, the best friend will start looking at me somewhat. So I didn't want to tell him, and I told you. And of all people, you found only my father to tell all this. You could have found somebody else. And then the father said, Swami has asked me to warn you. So this fellow was feeling very, very sad. Why did I do this? It's okay, I wanted to change, but too risky. This is too risky. And then the father says, Swami told me, tell that fellow that if in the hostel chutney salt is not there, he should go and tell the warden. Why does he write to me? He has written, in the hostel chutney, salt is not there. Is this what he should write to me? Have I taken avatar for this? Oi cheppu, gattiga cheppu. Go and tell him strongly that he should not write such letters to me. What else did he tell? This fellow asked carefully. Father said, what more you want? Is this not enough? You write such stupid things to Swami. Okay? Swami gave me an interview to tell. This fellow thought, how lucky you are. So, see how beautiful the message is. The message is, Swami is indicating to him, I have read your letter. The secret is safe with me. There was no salt in your life, I have added enough salt. Don't write such letters to me, means don't commit such sins again. See how beautiful. Can you get a God like this? When he tells you, you are seeing Kati Patang, then you see your life itself is like a Kati Patang. It has lost its contact with the owner, with the person who owns the kite. And so it can be lost in the breeze. It can fall in the traffic. Some cow can stamp on it. It can fall in a garbage pit. But what does he do? By telling you about that, he establishes the link with you so that he now holds that string of your life. He ties it to his feet so that you are always soaring, you never come down. You see, that is the God we have. How can you tell him happy birthday without telling ourselves happy birthday? Because his birth is for our happiness. One more incident. Being the warden in Swami's hostel gives you a ringside view of all this. Of course, as I told you, only if they open up. You are also clueless. I also didn't know that fellow had written the letter like that. Till that fellow himself came and told, hey, you know what? We changed so much that one day we were telling, hey, you have changed a lot, man. He said, you know how it happened? And he told all this. A few years back, there was a student who had studied in Brindavan. and who had passed out, who had completed his post-graduation, he had gone abroad, found a job, and then there was a meeting in Bangalore that he came to attend. So he came to Brindavan, and this boy was very, very devoted to Swami, very devoted to Swami. So as we were standing there, I told him, hey, it's so nice. You could find time in your hectic schedule to come to Brindavan. He said, yes sir, I had just 2 hours. I know traffic in Bangalore is dangerous, but how could I miss this opportunity to come to Brindavan and look at the Lord Krishna and breathe the Brindavan air? Now how could I miss this? So I wanted to come. And so we were both standing watching the Krishna idol in the quadrangle. Suddenly he said something which shocked me, He said, sir, do you know that all this would not have happened? All this would not have happened. I said, what do you mean? Sir, I would never have been a student in Swami's college. Oh, really? He said, yes. He said, sir, I didn't want to study in this college at all. My father forced me. My father said, no, you have to study in this college. Then we made a deal. I made a deal with my father. I will stay there for 15 days. After 15 days, if I come and say, no, I don't want to stay, you must not. You must immediately put me somewhere else. Father, had so much faith in Swami. He said, yeah, okay, 15 days. Okay. And then I used to notice that this boy, in the hostel we have something called Parayanam. Okay. And this is in the night, after night prayer, before boys go to sleep. We talk about Swami. One or other teacher talks about Swami. And boys come there and hear, so that before they sleep they think of Swami. When they get up they think of Swami, like that. This boy used to always come early and sit. So I was very surprised, very curious. Here was a fellow who never wanted to come, but became so devoted, wanted to be always in the forefront. And then he said, sir, when I joined Brindavan, I found one solace. And that was, there was one more boy from our school, from our class. I felt very happy. Sometimes you feel happy when you get company. So this fellow felt happy because here was a company which was going along the same road. Both of them had got into bad habits, and both of them had encouraged each other along that road to disaster. So both of them had so many bad habits. One of them was smoking. So this fellow felt happy. I need not smoke alone. There's one more chimney next to me. So that's how he felt. And so the first day, both of them went out, smoked and came back. Nobody was aware of it. Okay. That day night, the warden called all the boys. It's a tradition in Brindavan that the warden will speak to all the boys and tell them all the rules and regulations and tell them, look, you should not go outside Brindavan for any reason, okay, without permission. And so the warden spoke to him and told him all this, and told everything that you need is there inside Brindavan. So don't go outside the campus. Okay. Swami was in Brindavan at that time. Okay, the next day afternoon, this boy goes to his classmate and says, shall we go? And that fellow says, hey, I won't come. Did you not hear the warden saying yesterday that we should not go outside? So I am not going to come. This fellow said, wardens are meant for that only. They are supposed to tell that. That is their duty. Let them do their duty, we'll do our duty. Then that fellow said, no. I have come to such a good place. I want to improve. When you come to God, if you don't improve, where's the chance? So I want to improve. So this fellow said, I am going. Last time I'm asking you, are you going to come? This fellow says, I am not coming. I also advise you, give up this foolish habit. Give up the foolish habit, he says. Let him tell no. There's a photo of Swami. Let him tell no, I will give up. So that fellow says, yes, you are such a great soul, Mirabai, Sakubai, that God will come to you and tell you, please change, and then you will change, no? So this fellow said, I don't know all that. He should tell, then I will change. So that fellow says, okay. I mean, this fellow has signed himself into that kind of a situation. He is not going to improve. Let me at least change. Okay. So this fellow went outside and smoked and came inside, had a bath, got ready for darshan. He was sitting for darshan. One senior boy comes to him and says, brother, what's your application number? He tells the application number. Arey, today is your chance to do Aarti. This fellow was very surprised and happy. He thinks, look at that foolish fellow. You must know how to go to life. You should have happiness in this world, happiness in the next world. I manage that, and Swami is giving me happiness, going close to him also. Both happiness I'm getting. That's what he thought. So he went and sat there. Swami came, Swami sat for bhajan. At the end of it, Swami called the boys. There were two boys. One boy went with a rose and gave it to Swami. And then this boy, he went up to Swami with a Aarti plate and a matchbox. And Swami lit the Aarti, that's camphor, that's what Swami normally used to do. And then Swami gave the matchbox to him and said, just gave the matchbox to him and said, now this fellow started taking Aarti in the opposite direction. Because he was so shocked. I mean, he had challenged him, let him say, I will give up. And he had told him, no, he has to give up. And then Swami stopped him, not like this, do Aarti like this. So now he is asking me, sir, you remember that? You remember that? I said, yeah, I remember. I thought, now modern students, where do they take Aarti? Isn't it? Where do they take Aarti in their house? Which parent teaches them to take Aarti? If you are in Bal Vikas, you may get a chance. If you are in Sevadal, you may get a chance. How many parents say, let's have bhajan? At the end, give the children a chance to do Aarti. So I thought this fellow is a new fellow. He didn't even know. He thought some direction you must rotate. And then he said, sir, the message Swami told me was, you are going in this direction. No, go in the opposite direction. Go in the opposite direction. That message I got to know 10 years later. But it had changed that boy's life. You see how Swami can change your life, and how beautifully, I mean, it's just not the message, but it's the beauty with which Swami changes your life. Excuse me, sir. How much time do I have? 10 minutes? Okay. Right. So, one of the things that you learn when you come to Swami is, He is the Lord. For everything you can approach Him. You don't have to go to Him only when there are big disasters. Every disaster you can go to Him. He will hold you by the hand and save you. I joined Brindavan College in 1974 for the intermediate course. And one of the first things that I noticed was that mathematics was not my favorite subject. I'm putting it mildly. Mathematics was my terror. That would be more appropriate. We had a maths teacher, who would teach mathematics very nicely. He was a senior professor who had taught postgraduate students and PhD. Out of his love for Swami, he was teaching 11th standard students. But it didn't enter my skull. I used to sit in the back bench, what they call as Gandhi class. Somebody asked Mahatma Gandhi, why are you traveling by third class? He said, because there's no fourth class. Why was I sitting at the back bench? Because there were no benches behind that. So I was sitting like that, and I had one more classmate, and both of us sympathized with the teacher. Poor man is doing a great job, but it's just that it's not going into our head. In the class there will always be these brilliant fellows in the front, in the first row. And the teacher, when he asks, did you understand? They will rotate their head so much that the teacher will think whole class understood. I had a few of them in my class. And so the teacher, he had short sight. He could see only the first two benches. So he thought the whole class was understood. And mathematics exam inevitably came. It was the month of April. It was hot outside and hot inside. But on the day of the exam, we went to Swami's room for taking Par Namaskar. In those days, we had that privilege. Numbers were less. So Swami had given us permission. Before exam, come and do Namaskar. So I was telling, it's true that I don't understand mathematics, but one Namaskar from Swami and I'll be somewhere. That's what I thought. But see, Swami says, no, love my uncertainty. Don't be too sure that you can work your way with God. When I went there inside that room, Swami's room, Swami was scolding somebody. There was one gentleman by name Rama Brahman. He was a custodian of Brindavan. And Swami was upset with him, and he was getting it left and right. Just at that time, I came in. Swami said, hey, Ikadra, come here. And I was also included in that distinguished bracket. And Swami said, come on, you tell me. How much money do you get from home? He said, I get 100 rupees from home, Swami. In those days, 100 rupees had some value. Today, of course, if you give 100 rupees to a beggar, he'll give it back to you. Your need is greater than mine, he will say. But in those days, 100 rupees had a lot of value, and I said, Swami, I'm getting 100 rupees from home. Why are you getting so much money, he asked. I said, Swami, mess bill. The mess bill in those days used to be 65 rupees for the whole month. And the poor warden struggled so much to make it 70. Swami would not agree. After some years, when Swami agreed, he was about to announce when somebody came and called him, Swami is calling you. When he went back, Swami asked, what is tomorrow? Swami, tomorrow is New Year's Day. Do you want my boys to start the new year with hike in the mess bill? Nothing doing, make it 65. So it continued for some more years. So 65 years, 65 rupees, Swami, I said, mess bill. Income 35 rupees. The rest of the 35, what do you do? Such time creativity helps, no? I said, Swami, haircut. Enter a haircut, he said. How many times do you have a haircut in a month? Only once. Even by Brindavan's stringent standards, only once you can have a haircut in a month. So when I told him, he said, Enta avutundi, how much? In those days, the barbers would not charge much. Today, one haircut, whole mess bill would have got. But I said 150 something. Then Inca, he said, hair oil, didn't work. Soap, we can make out from our color how many times we use the soap in a month. One cake. And those days, even soaps were so cheap, 1 rupee 50 paise or something. I added up everything, it's coming to 10 rupees. And 25 rupees still not accounted for. And I'm thinking, sadly, I thought mathematics exam is there. I come here and accounts exam is here. And then Swami tells me, Cheppu, come on, tell me. Just then, no, that bell rang, for the exam. The next building was exam hall. Exam unda? Swami asked me, do you have exam? I looked at Swami. I mean, it's not an ordinary exam, it's mathematics exam. They say it's not a car, it's a car, they say, like that. It's a maths exam. Manchidi, namaskaram chesko. Did namaskar. Breakfast ayinda? Did you have breakfast? No, Swami. Go and eat your breakfast and go to the hall. So I finished breakfast, went to the hall, full 20 minutes late. Not that I had so much to write anyway. But outside, the mathematics teacher was waiting for me. Ravi Kumar, what happened? What happened? He said. He thought I had given up even before the battle began. I said, sir, big story. Big story. Okay, go inside, because within half an hour, if you don't go, they won't give question paper. I went inside. The question paper was so nice. I tell you, some great soul had set the question paper that day. 8 theorems he had given. And theorems and all, you can just get it by heart and students know what to do with it. Okay. So I started writing. I said, 8 theorems. I know all this. And I started writing. But always in life, pleasure is an interval between 2 pains. And the maths people have this habit of laying some booby traps here and there. So there was, first question itself, there was a substitution to be made. Let x be equal to something. And then you proceed. And I forgot what that it should be equal to. I tried, what is that equal to? After some time I said, okay, let me go to the next question. Leave it. We'll come back to x later. Next question had y. X itself I couldn't figure out. Y naturally. So like that it was going. And then what happened? Suddenly the bell rings and the invigilator comes and asks for paper like that. I looked at my paper, full of debris of broken, fractured theorems. Not even one theorem is complete. I smiled. I gave it to the examiner, to the invigilator. I thought, my gain is your loss. And gave it to him. So he took it and I came out. My maths teacher was waiting outside. When I saw him, I said, sir, I am touched, sir, he said. He was shocked. He had never heard of anyone writing maths exam and getting touched. He said, but what happened, Ravi Kumar? Then I said, sir, before I came, you came. You waited for 3 hours to find out how I have written, sir, so I am very touched. He said, no, it's not that. Don't get me wrong. If you pass, we will get 100% result. That's why he waited to find out. So he was waiting there. I sat with him and every question I told, sir, till this I have written, till this I have written, till this. At the end of it, I looked at him expectantly. Sir, I will pass now. He took a handkerchief and wiped his brow. And he said, look, this paper is being written by 40,000 students across the state. Nobody knows who is going to correct your paper. Sir, but won't I pass, sir? No chance. Then he said, no, Ravi Kumar, it's not like that. If on the day your paper has to be corrected, the person who has to correct your paper sees your paper first, and he has not had any problems at home. And he comes in a happy mood. He has not had upma for breakfast that day. He comes and sees your paper. He may even give you 35 marks. So 35 was like the brink. If you tumble this side, fail. Tumble that side, pass. So you can imagine how my holidays went. But at that time, see, pleasure is an interval between 2 pains. Swami took me with him to Bombay for some drama which we had to put up there. When we were coming back, Swami looked at me and said, you come to Patti. Holidays, you come to Patti. So when I went to Patti, Swami called me for an interview. And in the interview, Swami asked me, Nikem Kavali, what do you want? I mean, the $1 million question that everyone from Ravana to Kamsa to everyone would have waited for. Okay, not that I was in their company, but that's a question people do after doing tapas. They wait for God to ask, what do you want? Right? I had my answer ready. I said, Swami, mathematics lo pass kavali. Pass in mathematics. Adai poindira. Where am kavali? What else do you want? I thought God had already stretched himself too much to give me this boon. I don't want anything, Swami, I said. Then next month, the results came. So the principal gave the marks card to Swami. Swami is seeing our marks, reading our names and calling us and giving. He gave my marks card. I was looking at it because in red it was written passed. So maths also I would have passed. Swami went to the next name but came back. Hey, yema in the marks card here. Swami passed. Swami passed. Mathematics lo enta vachindi. I had not seen those details. When I looked at it, the maths marks was 53. Then Swami tells me, Swami is telling me, but you wrote only for 35 marks, no? How did you get 53? I said, I don't know. You did something. Nene chesan, Swami. I did. I changed your marks to 53 so that you will change from being what you are to a good student. From now onwards, study properly. I will end this by just telling you the last part, the epilogue. When I finished my degree, I was very happy with my marks. I went and stood for Namaskar. Swami, Namaskar. Enduku? Swami asked. I had got a rank in the university. Swami, university rank. Then Swami asked, mathematics lo enta vachindi? I had to answer. I knew if I tell Swami will give 90 vachindi, Swami. Big journey from 53 to 90, no? That's what I thought. Swami said, Chi, adi oka marka? He said. Is that a mark? Feeling so proud about it. Centum ravali. Get centum. Today when we offer our homage to Swami, let's remember that each one of us should get centum in the spiritual field, centum in everything in life. He has come down to make all of us winners. That's why he came down to earth. He came, God descends for the ascent of man, ascent in every sphere. A student should become a better student, best student. A Sevadal person should become a better Sevadal, a best Sevadal person. A Mahila should become a better Mahila Vibhag member. For each one of us, we have come to Swami, our lives can never be the same again. We cannot say, I went and saw God, I touched God, I felt God, but I'm the same again. It cannot be, isn't it? So, the best way to say happy birthday to Swami is to be happy always. Because we have Swami in our lives. What more can we ask for? Jai Sai.